Hello, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
We live in an age of technology, and many would say we are moving towards an age of artificial intelligence, where androids walk side by side with humans. They have already entered our homes, they are in our devices, and they are gendered.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
You are familiar with Cortana, Siri, and virtual assistants like Amazon Alexa. But have you ever wondered why these AI are female? Ever considered the implications of pushing our own gender constructs onto the machinery that is meant to symbolize our future? Our tendency to associate gender with artificial intelligence does not come from nowhere. Every day we see objects that people associate with certain genders. Some will even go so far as to assign pronouns to objects. Ships are female, cars are female. But why is that? Objects that serve to provide for humans in some way, or objects that are meant to be admired, are often given she/her pronouns. Not only are they not human, they are inanimate. Yet the default pronouns for animate objects are he/him. When you see a username, chances are you will assume the person behind it is male. A level of intelligence seems to be a defining factor in the gender of an object, an intelligence that, in our patriarchal society, women are not expected to have. Objects without pronouns can still be gendered. Studies have found a pattern in the way we view objects as having corresponding genders. For example, one study involving 192 undergraduate students, 64 of which were male, used a numbering system to have participants rate an object based on which gender it represented. This study found that athletics and outdoor objects were predominantly masculine, while beauty objects were mostly feminine. Kitchen and dining objects placed in the middle, though many leaned towards feminine. Most clothing and accessories were feminine, and most tools were masculine apart from knitting needles and thread. The objects that were representative of each gender uphold the stereotypes and norms that constrict human men and women. Gender roles are so ingrained in our minds that we unknowingly reinforce them through the objects we handle day to day. This tendency to gender objects is ever present in the way we treat artificial intelligence.
How many times have you used Siri to turn on your alarm, or asked Alexa or your Google Home to play your favorite song for the 8th time too many? Well, did you know that there's a reason you feel comfortable with having a disembodied female voice doing all your bidding? Companies like Apple and Amazon and Google are transforming the market by using AI. AI that plays stereotypically feminine personas to make you feel more comfortable. Examples of this include the politeness of Siri's tone. Even when asked explicit or inappropriate questions, Siri adapts to this abuse, leaving her open to harassment just like real women in the real world are forced to adapt and maneuver situations where they are most likely to be harassed. The more comfortable you get, the more information you let out, the more information they can get from you. This process is known as surveillance capitalism, as defined by Susan Woods. A type of capitalism that runs on the forecasting of human behavior and information gathered from observation and interaction. The interaction between the human user and the AI. The reliance on the feminine persona, which plays up stereotypical traits like servitude, complacency, naivety, and efficiency to perpetrate surveillance capitalism, means that stereotypical ideas of femininity become a benchmark. What could this mean for the position of women in society? Due to the constant interaction with AI, who have these personas, and the market's reliance on this version of femininity, it becomes hard to move away from the perpetuated stereotypes. Real women will be expected to conform to this same code of conduct, and when they don't, the possibility of violence and harassment increases significantly.
With the advent of new technologies, Donna Haraway envisioned a possibility of a genderless future. Artificial intelligence is not by nature gendered, and without the enforcing of such stereotypes, AI might sound like,
"Hi, I'm Q, the world's first genderless voice assistant. Think of me like Siri or Alexa, but neither male nor female. I'm created for a future where we are no longer defined by gender, but rather how we define ourselves.
Donna Haraway wrote an essay entitled A Cyborg Manifesto, which was published in 1985 as one of the first postmodern feminist texts. She claims that as technologies advance, women will be able to utilize technology to essentially level the playing field by reconstructing conceptions of gender altogether. When babies can be created in pods rather than women's reproductive organs, there will be no need for anatomical differences. But as you have seen so far, artificial intelligence has actually begun to receive gender designations, rather than humanity adopting the genderless nature of technology. Therefore, Haraway's notions are extremely idealistic. If, however, an intelligent computer can learn to be female, what is to say that femininity is nothing more than artificial conception? Jack Halberstam, a gender theorist at Columbia University, even goes so far as to suggest that gender itself is reminiscent of technology in that it is programmable. There may be biological differences between those who are born male and female, but women are not more genetically predisposed to wear makeup than men. Society continually perpetuates this narrative where women are to be polite and reserved and to take on domestic responsibilities. These are learned behaviors, programmed into us at young ages. But if gender is truly an imitative concept, then it can be broken down for humanity and technology alike. Justine Castle is one developer who has dedicated her research to building genderless artificial intelligences. With women such as Castle on the forefront of artificial intelligence development, perhaps Donna Haraway's envisioned egalitarian future might not be so impossible after all.
Given the approach of genderless AI, society would look very different if we continue enforcing gender binaries onto products. Consequences such as enabling male-dominated tech roles, AI abuse, and unrealistic virtual relationships ultimately enforce female stereotypes. The percentage of employed women in various sectors of the workforce has increased to 47% in the US as of 2021. However, the largest tech companies in the world only have a workforce of 34.4% women. Microsoft having 29%, Google having 33%, Facebook having 37%, and Apple having 34%. With such small percentages of women in tech roles already, many whom are currently in these roles are driven to leave due to poor treatments and unreasonable career progressions. In a survey by Hired.com, 65% of women tech workers say they have been discriminated against compared to 11% of men. Furthermore, a recent class action lawsuit against Microsoft expressed by female employees raised concerns with harassment and discrimination in the workplace. Ultimately, with the high percentage of males staying in the tech industry and the high amount of females leaving, men are bound to project their own stereotypes and interpretations of what a female is and should be within their creations. Not only is the tech sector an incubator for encouraging female stereotypes onto AI, the production of sex robots and virtual relationship platforms as a result of male-dominated tech industry has encouraged AI abuse due to the construction of the male master, female subordinate roles. These archetypes that are thought to be so casual can become ingrained into the user's mentality and translated into their day-to-day actions. In a case study by Sanchez and others, he found that users who interacted with 3 different types of female AI used sexist, hypersexualized commentary, and even racist language towards these robots. Ultimately, if agents like AI are learning from an environment that is not diversified, this creates stereotypes and enforces a society where ethics are being compromised and gender stereotypes are continually constructed. With this in mind, we need to start holding AI creators accountable for their creations, place more emphasis into how women are treated in tech, and move away from the stereotypes that companies perpetuate in order to sell.